if you don't happen to know who I am, my name is Reece Leiker and I'm the owner and founder of Define. And here at Define, we focus on giving you the high quality tools and education you need to define beauty for you, because it's important to have products that you know are cleaner and know how to use them too, because if you don't know how to apply the products, it's kind of confusing and it doesn't all fit together and make sense. So today I am going to teach you one look that you can do with our brand new Rosé palette. I am so stinking excited to use it, especially if you have green or blue eyes. This is really going to accentuate them. But let's go ahead and get right on into it. All right, we are ready to rock and roll. So let's get right on into it. What you're going to need on hand, you are going to want to have your eyeshadow primer. Mine is well loved. You can totally see that. So hopefully yours is a little bit more full than mine, but you're going to need your eyeshadow primer, your dual camouflage stamper brush. So the one that when you feel it, it's kind of got that waxy coating and it's on the top and the bottom. It's dual sided. That's why it's called dual camouflage stamper brush. And then you're also going to need your fluffy crease brush. So it kind of V's out a little bit like this. It's got a pretty round top, if you guys can see that. Obviously, you're going to need your Rosé palette. Is she not gorgeous? She's stunning, beautiful, amazing, mwah. And then last but not least, you are going to need your essentials palette. So mine is actually looking a lot better these days. She was looking a little rough because she was very, very, very well loved. But first things first, you are going to need to go ahead and put eyeshadow primer over your entire eyelid. Now, I went ahead and did this prior to filming because I'm a lot better at doing it in a mirror than I am looking at myself in a camera. So I'm just going to double check that that is good to go. But what you would do is take your dual camouflage stamper brush and then go ahead and apply eyeshadow primer all over your eyelid. Now, this is an older brush that I have, so it doesn't have the two sides, but you guys will have the two sides on your dual camouflage stamper brush. So I am just smoothing that out, making sure everything is good to go. And if you need to, you can take your finger and kind of pat press over that to make sure everything is nice and smooth. You don't want to see any creasing. So once you don't see creasing, you are ready to start applying eyeshadow. So go ahead and take your fluffy crease brush now and your essentials palette. And we're going to load up this white shade right here onto the fluffy crease brush. You don't need a ton of it. I'm tapping off any excess that I have. And I am going to apply this from the start of my brow. And I'm pat pressing all the way up until my arch. I'm grabbing a little bit more and I'm bringing it down close to the inner corner of my eye. Notice I didn't quite hit the inner corner of my eye. And what this does is creates a barrier so that when we're working with darker colors inside of the Rosé palette, they're not gonna go crazy and you're not going to get that intense, like almost panda eye, you know, when it's just like, oh, did I get a black eye or am I a panda or what's going on here? So essentially this is just that barrier that is blocking any colors from going somewhere you don't want them to be. Now you can go ahead and put your essentials palette away. You will not need it for the remainder of the tutorial. And something else you will want to have on hand is a towel to swipe your fluffy crease brush so that you can just use one brush the entire time. That is the beauty of the fluffy crease brush. It's very, very versatile. So now going into the Rosé palette, the first color we're gonna grab is our white here. So I'm gonna load that up onto my brush. I love this white. It is pretty true toned white. It does not seem very cream. It does not seem, you know, too insanely light. It doesn't really have a shimmer to it. So just this beautiful matte white, because as you've seen in the Rosé palette, there's already a lot of shimmer. So we didn't really need to add that with the white. So I'm applying it from the top of my arch all the way down my tail and in the inner corner of my eye. Same thing over here, pat press, and pat press in that inner corner. Now it's key to do pat press instead of sliding, because if you do a sliding motion, it's not actually going to want to stick to your primer. Take the brush, I'm swiping it on the towel next to me, and then the next color we're gonna go in with is that kind of peach color inside of the Rosé palette. It's almost like it's a pink peach. I don't know how to describe it, but I absolutely love it. So now I am feeling for my brow bone and I am going to go slightly on top of / slightly underneath. I am pat pressing the first 50% of the way and then using back and forth motions, I'm going to blend that down towards the inner corner of my eye, not quite hitting it though. So what this is called is a transition color in technical makeup terms. And this is going to help give us a really awesome blend from that white down into the more intense colors that we will be using. So over here again, pat, press. And then you're going to gently blend that using back and forth motions over towards the inner corner of your eye. So blend, make sure that's all good to go. Beautiful. And if you need to blend some more, take your brush, swipe it on a towel. Very, very light pressure. I cannot stress this enough. Go back and forth on top of that color to blend it even more. If you use intense pressure, you're going to make that color go away, and that is not what we want to do. I can't talk. We want to keep this very high pigment. We want to keep it very colorful. And so that's why we're using very light pressure in blending. Now, the next color I want to use is going to be this kind of matte, I don't even know. It's not even like a rust. It's a little bit more of a purple version of a rust. So picking that up, tapping off any excess. And I am going to pat press this on that outer about 40% of my eyelid, making sure I get all areas. If you need to, you can invert your brush to get close to the lash line. Pat press, pat press. Oh, that is such a rich, beautiful color. It's like, it performs a little bit more red, I feel like, outside of the palette, but I absolutely am in love with it. I can already tell that my eyes are popping a bit more, and I am here for it. All right. Now that that is applied, we are going to blend, because you're like, Reece, oh my gosh, I look insane. What is this? Don't worry. So take your brush, go ahead and swipe that on a towel. And now we are going to blend. So you're blending at the top, very light pressure when you're doing this again. We're blending the top of that color into our transition color. We're blending the side where it meets our foundation and powder, and we're blending the middle where it will meet another color. Do you see the difference that blending can make? Be sure, take your time and blend with this look. So I'm blending all of those areas, the top, the side, and the middle. And if you happen to lose a little bit of pigment, you can grab some more from your palette and then just pat press in the areas in the middle of where you blended, if that makes sense. So I'm not applying more where I was blending, I'm just applying it inside of that area. Okay, perfect. So now I have that set and I am ready to apply another color. I am going to actually do something a little crazy here. And I am going to take the shimmer color on the outside and apply that right on top of the color I just placed. This is something pretty fun that I'm like, I am going for it. Because what it's gonna do is that darker base is going to make this color look a little bit more intense when I apply it. Make sure you pat press this color. It's a pretty loose shimmer, I would say, in comparison to ones that you guys are familiar with if you've used the browns palette or the tans palette. So definitely make sure you are pat pressing this color. It just gives it a little bit more reflectivity, and I think it's so stunning. I'm going to apply that again. Same thing over here, right on top of that color that I just placed. Pat press, making sure that is all good to go. Alrighty. We're ready for our next step. So I am going to take my brush, swipe it on its own, and I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. Let's actually use this light pink shimmer now. So in this tutorial, we are using every color in this palette, and you're going to notice this powder or shimmer is not as loose as the last one we used, so you're going to get a lot of pack, or not a lot of pack, you're going to get a lot of pigment when you pack press this. So you can see just how vibrant that light pink is. It is, oh, just amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, stunning. I love it. It's so light. It gives me like the feeling of being a Disney princess. I don't know why, but that is just what I associate this color with. Or like a ballerina, you know, slippers, like that light pink, just beautiful color. That is what I feel like when I have this color on. Now I'm gonna take that brush, swipe it on its out, and I am blending right where the two colors meet in the middle here. And I'm also going to blend on the top where it meets my transition color, so that everything is soft and smoked out. Now, normally, and how I would do my makeup, I would do my eyebrows, my eyeshadow primer, do my eyeshadow, and then finish the rest of my face. However, because I was recording this, I went ahead and just did everything and then my eyes last. So this is where I'm just gonna take a brush that I have. So today we're gonna go with the buffer brush, and I am going to sweep off some of that shadow fall that I have in my under eye. I'm using super light pressure. So if you happen to do your eyes last, definitely make sure you get that shadow fall off. And voila. One thing I am going to do, because I want to be a little bit extra, so if you want to be a little bit extra with this eyeshadow look, go ahead and grab your precision crease brush. So you'll see this is tinier than the fluffy crease brush. The bristles are a lot tighter. They're not very spread out. And I'm going to load up that pink, red kind of color. We need to come up with a name for that. I will work on that. And then we are going to create a halo. So I'm going underneath on this side here, and I'm just scribbling back and forth about 50% of the way with this color, making sure it meets the top. Same thing over here. I'm going to scribble about 50% of the way and then stop. Now, switch back to your fluffy crease brush. Let me see where I put that. There we go. Found it. Sometimes I have to play like I Spy with myself when I do tutorials because I just move brushes all around. So, fluffy crease brush, make sure you swiped it on a towel, and then you are going to very lightly go back and forth on that to blend, not using a lot of pressure at all, by any means. And then you'll see you can move it a little bit more towards the inner corner of your eye when you're blending, but really we don't want a lot of that red to go towards the inner corner of our eye, because that can start to make you look like you have more dark circles, or that, you know, it doesn't look good. I've learned this from my 5 years of doing makeup. Don't do that, guys. Just do not do that, okay? Perfect. Don't take it that far into the inner corner of your eye. So now it is blended and ready to go, and from here all I have to do is apply mascara. So I am going to do that real quick using our brand new, let me pull them out so you can see them, our lash thickener and conditioner and volumizing mascara by Glow. This is something we now carry at Define. So I'm gonna do my mascara and I will be right back. And here is how the look turned out from today's tutorial. Absolutely in love with it. It is a great everyday look, just gives you a little bit of pop of color without being overly dramatic. So if you want to learn more tips, tricks, techniques behind how to do your makeup, be sure to follow us. I will put all of the details on where to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube in the slide after this, as well as if there are any items that you would like from today's tutorial, you can shop on the website definebeautyforyou.com. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you all in the next tutorial.